clearly there were budget problems in Greece going into this, and it was aggravated hugely by the downturn, and then made worse by the policies recommended by the IMF, ECB, the austerity policies, because that basically meant that Greece stopped growing, started shrinking, the economy was contracting. I think the current rate's about 5% annual rate. And that just makes the deficit targets that much harder to hit, because you're collecting even less tax revenue, paying out more in benefits, and going down this path of trying to get out of a debt problem, overcome it with austerity. It's almost doomed to fail, almost by definition, because you're basically the key issue here is how large is your debt relative to the economy. If your economy is getting smaller, it's really hard to shrink the debt burden. Well, I don't say it's the best solution, but one of the solutions I think should have been on the table is leaving the euro. I mean, the model here is Argentina, which was very much in a debt squeeze. It had its economy had contracted in 98 to 2001, and they were trying to get their deficits down, this again under the instigation of the IMF, and things just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and finally their government was losing all legitimacy. They couldn't impose further austerity, it basically collapsed, and they end up defaulting on their debt. And also, what the other thing they did was they broke from their currency tie. Of course, they had their own currency, but it was tied to the dollar at that time, and they broke from that. They had pledged this irreversible tie, and in December of 2001, they broke from that, and that did create a crisis. For about 3 months, the economy was in a free fall. It began to stabilize the next 3 months, and then after that, you had 7 years of solid growth till the downturn of the world economy basically led to stagnation in Argentina. But since then, the last couple of years, its economy again has been growing at a very rapid pace. I think it's scheduled to grow projected to grow something like 8% this year. So that's one route, not an easy one. I mean, I wouldn't say you necessarily would want to do that, but it's certainly, if the alternative is 10 years of austerity, high unemployment, falling wages, something that people, I would think, would want to consider. Greece needs more spending rather than less, in the sense that you need to spend more on your education so that you could be at the top of Europe rather than near the bottom. Infrastructure, I mean, so there's lots of things like that Greece could very usefully do that could employ people in the short run. Over the long term, have very substantial economic benefits.